Now, we'll talk more about this as these lessons go on, but to say it upfront and clearly, we all have a crucial role to play, no matter how small we might sometimes feel our contribution seems.
Sorry everyone, we've noticed that we're getting a little bit of a delay, so we're just going to pause the stream and start everything back up again, because it looks like everything's frozen. So we will be back on in about 2 or 3 minutes.
Hi everybody, it's Sarah Humphries from AimHi. While Matthew and Sarah are just resetting their internet, I'm here with Dan Ryan from the Eden Project, and we're going to do a little wander around while we're waiting for everything to get back up and running.
Hey everyone, we haven't introduced the biome properly. We're in one of the world's wonders. This is a biome, or a rainforest, that was created in a China clay pit in Cornwall. So if we spin around,
Yeah, you got it?
we're surrounded by amazing tropical plants from all over the world, including, at the moment, just behind me, that huge palm tree is a really famous plant you might have heard of. It's called the oil palm. All over Southeast Asia, big chunks of rainforest have been converted to oil palm. Now, we all use oil palm, right? It's in everything from toothpaste to pot noodles to nachos and margarine, absolutely everything. And yet it comes at this terrible cost that rainforest is destroyed to grow it. And this is one of the big dilemmas of the modern world. We all need stuff, but we've got to look after the world in which we live. And Eden Project is all about those kind of tricky discussions.
We could wander while we're waiting. Until I can see them on the screen, I'm going to continue to wander.
We're going to look at some other really cool plants. We're going to look at the bananas.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dan. Great that there are 200 people on here.
If we can aim the camera up there.
Yeah. Fry's asking if there are tropical bugs in here as well.
There are so many bugs, you wouldn't believe. The last broadcast we did at night, and there were cockroaches crawling out from behind the cameras. In the daytime, it's a bit more serene. There's some bird song, but not too many bugs on show. The bugs tend to come out at night. So behind us, I'm going to try and just there. That's quite a hard trick to pull.
Yeah.
Can you see that bunch of bananas? Right, so I'm going to tell you my favorite thing about bananas. And you may feel a bit sad for them at the end of this. Bananas probably haven't had sex for about 8,000 years. Now that's quite a long barren patch, but that has led to the tasty banana that we eat today. Most fruits breed with each other, they have sex, but bananas were caused by a mutation that happened about 8,000 years ago in the jungles of somewhere like Sumatra. We haven't nailed it down completely, where two bananas bred together and they produce this infertile but really tasty offspring. And ever since then, we've been taking cuttings, or kind of, it'd be a bit like if I stood next to Sarah, I chopped a bit off her, planted it in the ground, and another Sarah would grow, identical to the mother plant. So those bananas just there are the great times a lot granddaughters of those first plants that hybridized somewhere in the steamy forests of Southeast Asia.
Oh my God, brilliant. I'd be terrified if another Sarah just appeared out of nowhere, honestly. We're on the hunt for some animal species, so let's have a look around. I'm hoping that Matthew and Sarah are having some luck rebooting their laptop, but this is quite fun in the meantime. We're keeping an eye out for little rainforest birds.
We might whistle to attract them, so if you get some interference in your computer.
Oh, great, we've spotted them. Hey.
These are partridges from Southeast Asia called rule, which is a bit hard to say if you can't say your R's properly like me. They are ground living, insect eating birds. So they've been super handy in keeping some of our pest problems down, because a bit like if you've got a greenhouse at home, sometimes you get too many bugs and beasties that have a harmful effect in the biome. And one of them is drinking my coffee right now.
Oh my gosh, it put its whole foot in.
Put its whole foot.
Oh, no. Oh dear.
I'm really not sure if coffee is a good thing for tropical birds.
What a disaster.
So you may have noticed when the birds ran up to the camera that There were some with a big red Mohican, and there were some that were a kind of bright green color. So this is an example, if any of you are studying biology, of a phenomena called sexual dimorphism, basically where the males and females of a species look a bit different to each other. So in this case, it's the males with the bright red Mohicans, and the females look this bright green color. So some of the AimHi team have nicknamed them the avocado bird. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not. What do you think?
I think avocados are great.
In a situation like this, it's the females that will go for the males with the best and biggest crest. So it's a kind of useful way for the males to attract a mate. Originally, we put 4 of these things in the biome to see how they'd get on, and they absolutely loved it. So over the years, they have happily bred, and now we've got about 30 or 40 of these things trundling around.
And how long have you worked here for, Dan?
I have worked here for about 17 years, nearly my whole adult life.
And has it changed a lot since you've been here?
It's really interesting looking back at old photos to see how small everything was. But even when Eden Project opened in 2001, it still felt like a proper rainforest. I mean, Sarah will be able to tell you now, and hopefully you can see the trees are so big and so lush and green. It's just the most magical place.
How many hexagons are there? Are they hexagons?
God, that's a good question.
Do you know?
I do know, and it's one of those facts that you're a bit embarrassed to know. There are 625 hexagons that make up the Eden Project biomes.
Wow.
Each of them is about 10 meters across. They're covered in 3 layers of plastic. So you might have double glazing at home in your windows. This is like a triple glazing, so it's super insulative.
Yeah.
It's aimed to develop a greenhouse effect and store all this heat in this building to make it nice for the plants to grow. Right, I'm going to sneak myself into the cocoa trees. What I'm going to try and show you are the cocoa flowers first. You see just where I'm pointing here, these flowers that are growing straight off the trunk of the plant. This is a really interesting phenomenon in biology called cauliflory. And that's because the fruit of cocoa are so heavy that they can't grow on the kind of lighter, spindly branches that you might be used to with apples or oranges or something like that. They get pollinated by little insects, and then once they are pollinated, they produce these kind of rugby ball sized fruits. And these aren't quite ripe. When they're ripe, they'll go a kind of orangey color. So they're a couple of weeks away from being ripe. Amazing, if we took one of those off and had a knife, I'm sorry, I don't have one with me, we would split it open, and inside we'd find about 40 cocoa beans. And those are the things that we make chocolate with. So we might dry them in the forest, we'd chop them up, make them into something called nibs, and then grind them, and that's where we get the cocoa powder to make the chocolate from. I probably need to admit that I'm addicted to chocolate. Of all the things to be addicted to, it's not a bad one. It can be good for our health, in moderation, good for our hearts, and it's certainly pretty tasty, isn't it? Do you see those ones on the tree behind? Almost totally ripe. And they are absolute whoppers. They're bigger than my head. Can we see some more animals? We do, Isabel, but they tend to be a bit harder to find. So we've got 3 species of lizards, a sort of tree frog. We've got things like praying mantis, but most of those animals are that you can think about them as employees of Eden. They're to eat the bugs. We don't put them in there to be on display for people. They're there to kind of do a job and to generate the kind of natural ecology that somewhere like this needs. Jesse's asking, what's my favorite plant in there? My favorite plant in there is actually, we can see from here, it's that tree there. Dark green, you might be able to see it. It's called agathis, and it's a relative of the monkey puzzle trees. It's so old, it's like a dinosaur plant.
I think we're back in Biz.
Bye, everyone.
Great to see you all, everyone. I never usually make an appearance at these, so what a great, thanks all for being so engaged. I'm going to hand back over to Matt and Sarah now. Goodbye.